It's the 14th, no, 15th annual Bump in the Night. No, Kiss and Tell. Which one are we doing? It's the 17th. It's the 17th Kiss and Tell.
I'm not old enough for this to be the 15th.
Maybe total events we've done, but Kiss
I'm pretty sure that we're in this must be the 20th year we've been doing this.
It can't be a day less than 30.
I'm only 22, so it's not possible.
Well, I guess the term is sesquicentennial. Is that the one we're at? Is that no? It just feels like we've been doing this.
There should be fireworks.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I believe it's actually number 7. Is that correct, Ms. Toole?
At least.
And that's extraordinary. It's amazing that this particular group has had this dedication to poetry, to the community of poetry, to each other, to their work, to each other's work. That is a phenomena that rarely happens, and I think we all should be very proud and very up on ourselves for having accomplished this, especially this year with all the craziness and all that. Here we are, still doing poetry. So a round of kisses for all of you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Give them back to me. Give them back. Right.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Yeah.
So a little personal news. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Carrie and I have gotten engaged.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah.
And so we've ripped off this E.E. Cummings poem to hat tip to you guys and kick off our love fest here in the world of poems. So you'll recognize this, I hope, immediately. May I feel, said he.
I'll squeal, said she.
Well, just once, said he.
It's fun, said she.
May I touch, said he.
How much, said she.
A lot, said he.
Why not, said she.
Well, let's go, said he.
Not too far, said she.
Well, what's too far, said he.
Where you are, said she.
May I stay, said he.
Which way, said she.
Well, like this, said he.
If you kiss, said she.
May I move, said he.
Is it love, said she.
If you're willing, said he.
But you're killing, said she.
But it's life, said he.
I'll be your wife, said she.
Now, said he.
How, said she.
Tip top, said he.
Don't stop, said she.
Oh no, said he.
Go slow, said she.
Come, said he.
Oh, said she.
You're fine, said he.
You're mine, said she.
All right, so there we
Yeah.
So,
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you very much. Well, we hope that in some ways sets a tone for the evening. We can do things on Zoom we've never done before at Bump. That can be entirely more suggestive.
Oh my God.
But to kick off, we often use Jonah Raskin, who's my favorite poet and the poet laureate of Sonoma County's soul, and the author of one of my favorite books about a poet, American Scream, about the Howell trial, which if you haven't read it, I implore you to do so.
Oh, you don't need a chair.
I am very grateful to be Jonah's editor. He writes the weekly cannabis column for the North Bay Bohemian, the Pacific Sun, and he's usually our closer for the acts, but I think Jonah as a kickoff is going to be a bit of a novelty. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring Jonah Raskin to the mic.
Okay.
Question first. I know we did this last time to mute everybody else, so just so there's no background noise. And if you want to respond, you can make movements or you can do a little chat thing to the group. Is that because we did that last time, right, Stacy? Yeah. Okay. Again, if you haven't muted yourself, I have the power. But you can unmute yourself. So the person reading, of course.
Unmute yourself, though.
Okay. This one is called No Risk It, No Biscuit. No risk it, the biscuit, the Buccaneers coach said. But coach, I don't want a biscuit. I want a taco with guac and salsa and Ayoshka Shanker sitar pouring over the bio of Che, half red sitting on my desk, a half empty jar of coconut oil on my bed table, a half smoked joint in an ashtray with from Portugal that says in Portuguese, workers of the world unite. My whole body aching to be pain-free. The cortisone shot I got making me feel the way I used to feel when I fueled my body with opium, though I didn't like coming down when every ache and pain would roar back. No risk it, no biscuit, but I'd rather eat a corn taco, coach, with guac and salsa, and Anioshka's sitar pouring from my desktop. This one is called Inauguration. Lindsey Graham sat behind Bernie Sanders, Lady Gaga behind Bill Clinton, that figures. Mike Pence in front of Kamala Harris, Jennifer Lopez, and Hillary Clinton also in the picture, plus other public figures and dignitaries, all masked and doing the social distancing thing. One man missing, one man planning his comeback. Meanwhile, Biden at the helm. This one is called The Arc of My Existence. After rain, sun, winter weather, a trickle in the creek, acacia blooming, and the budding of the camellias here where the Olone danced, and the pioneers unsettled the land, where I grew rows of corn, purloined apples, fished in the lake, shopped at Safeway along with the white boys in overalls, the old men who could barely walk, the cash in my pocket screaming, now giddy after the impeachment, wondering when life might impeach me, a day closer to my inoculation on the edge of this continent, the prospectors doomed by the gold they discovered, Hindus spiking the railroads, smoking weed at sunset, praying for Krishna. Oh Krishna, where are you now that I'm floating on the arc of my own existence? And this one is called Shelley. Shelley, Shelley, Percy Bush Shelley, romantic, wrote in 1821, a year before he died at 29, that poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Yeah, that's real cool, man. Shelley's words, an intro to Amanda Gorman, 22 years young from LA, first National Youth Poet Laureate, who read her Shelley-like verse, The Hill We Climbed, at the inauguration, reminded me of Robert Frost, who read at JFK's inauguration, 61, just as the 60s began to give birth to themselves. Gorman's poem prompting me to trust that the roaring 20s have just begun, a roaring decade when poetry, to borrow the words of Adrienne Rich, will lay its hands on our shoulders, touch us, move us, legislate the future. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
And Jonah, is that your final poem?
Now, if there's room, time at the end, I'll read something else, but I'm gonna move on now or something.
I would love for you to read something to close the evening. That's wonderful. Well, Jonah Raskin, everyone. That's right. Yeah. Stacy Toole is one of the founding members of the Sonoma Writers Workshop. It may have been Stacy or Lisa or some conspiracy involving also AJ that made this thing begin at all. I remember, oddly, before Jonah joined us, we had another poet who left the group, and Jonah was the mid-series replacement. And then we cohered into the family TV show that we became. So I'm very grateful to have been part of that sitcom, and hope to continue being part of that sitcom. Oh, by the way, it's a sitcom. I sold our rights to Fox. I hope that's acceptable to you guys. But Stacy, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you. All right. I haven't read this one in front of Taylor yet. This is funny to sit next to you and read. The first one I'm gonna read, don't read it yet. You have to wait.
I can't see it.
I'm gonna read my Love in the Time of COVID poem that I've been working on in little tiny bits because most of the time I'm with a 3-year-old. But I got some free time thanks to Grandma and Grandpa today, and Taylor, who's been taking care of him for me. So, and before I start reading, I want to also give a shout out to my good friend Scott Hales, who is here with us tonight, who gave me the idea for this poem. I have borrowed it from him, maybe stolen it, I don't know. But on a walk one day, we were talking about quarantine, pandemic, and he brought up this idea of an alembic, which I'd never heard of. And for those of you that are like me that didn't know, an alembic is this kind of medieval distillation device that performs some kind of alchemical process, and it distills from these two separate vessels connected by one valve, kind of like a pressure cooker, and distills and refines down into some other substance. Maybe a cognac, actually, something tasty. And Scott brought up that the idea of, quarantine and pandemic was like living in an alembic. So I've borrowed that idea and run with it. And I've written some quarantine quatrains in the style of Robbie Burns. You might be familiar with his, oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melodies that's sweetly played in tune. So I took the idea from Scott and the form from Robbie Burns, and here's my quarantine quatrains. Oh, my love is a small and ever shrinking house where my worries and your junk vie for space. Though no law binds me here as your spouse, we two are sheltered, shackled in place. Oh, we're caught in an ancient alembic, two separate chambers condensing to one, set to fire under the flame of pandemic, will be cooked through till you and I are done. Week by week, weary months to go, the growing pressure feels so tight. Two caged animals we become. We wrestle, we tussle, we fight. But when the vapor of my anger rises, it meets the inner cool of your calm. And every night I cook yet another dinner, but there is grace to meet palm to palm. And our two vessels release their steams. Your sweetness suffuses my sour. My wishes seep into your dreams. What was once mine transforms to our. So maybe this ancient alembic alchemy makes us more essential by distilling you and I into we. All right, so thank you, Scott, for that alembic metaphor. And I've got one other new one. This is one I've been working on for a while. It started off as, I think it was called To Be in Love with the Wild, but right now it's called The Wild Heart, and I want to send this one out to the quintessential wild heart. This one goes out to Isa. Do you praise the first soft petals of spring and the pelt of hard rain they bring? Dare you lie down in green grass so thick and risk those thirsty ticks? Will you still sing for falling leaves or howl for the hot wind that carries them? How do you welcome the gray face of winter and learn not to turn from your own? You must take the hand of each season, tangling your fingers together, knowing on each there is both blessing and curse. But you cannot feel the tickle of moss on your cheek without the slick of rocks in the creek. You cannot hear the orchestra of birds if the world is ringing in your pocket. You will forget the taste of your own salt if you do not dive into the wild sea. To be in love is to climb the bluffs and risk the fall, to spread out your arms and open again to the wild within. Thank you, thank you. Sending love out to all those wild hearts out there.
That's beautiful. And that completes your contribution tonight, Ms. Toole?
I will pass it on to the next reader.
Well, what's the term they use for that? I relinquish my time, or give my time back to the, I cede my moment. Yeah, I cede my time to AJ Peterson. Okay. Yeah. Hello, AJ. I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you?
How much time you got?
Well, let's do 10 minutes of poetry, and hopefully they'll convey all everything.
I have written 3 short ones, and the first one needs no introduction. It's called Year of the Rat, or The Year We Saw the Scurried. Was the year we all became entomologists. Ants were a pastime in the era. That's when we became budding Buddhas, noticing, then noticing, then noticing the absurdum of all sentences, starting with why. Now, as patient oxes with retrained reflexes, having learned to wait in line, we know to look away from action, to shunt the protagonist, to peer perpendicular to the plot line, to prosper at the proscenium. Thus arrested, we peek around all ambient arcs of space and time, and we see, that bulb is out. That wall needs painted. That leaf is brown, definitely brown. Was there always so much litter in the dirt? So much je ne sais quoi? And so many abandoned spider nurseries. Where are the little ones now? That was The Year of the Rat, The Year of the Ox. This next one, I thought Elliot Welch might have shown up, and he and I have an insane coincidence. Somebody I dated back in the 90s, the mid 90s, scurried off from Iowa to the Vatican to learn Latin. And it turns out that our very own Elliot here, super electrician in Sonoma, also scurried off to the Vatican to learn Latin at the same time. And they were there at the same time studying with somebody named Father Reggie, who was also interviewed in Bill Maher's Religiosity movie, if you saw that. He was a really intense guy who taught Latin at the Vatican, and he slept like 2 or 3 hours a night his whole life. He was just this crazy, intense guy, just an absolute muse of muses. And he dedicated his whole life to teaching people Latin, and they would go live there, and he wouldn't let you speak anything but Latin the whole time you were there. So I got in my car the other day and I heard on NPR that he had died. And he's kind of followed me around my whole life, just this idea of him. He's just kind of this larger than life figure. And so they had a little thing on him, and I heard that Elliot might have come tonight to read something about Reggie, and I wrote something to match it, but I think I'm on my own here. But basically, he just was a proponent of great Latin works and such, and a fellow insomniac. So, encomium to Reggie, Father Reggie Benedictus, American Emeritus, meritocracy was forever your game in Rome. Still siempre, like you, I retire late and derive early. Only my Germanic prepositions dragging down my verbs, and my word, it's getting late. We insomniacs have to adhere. You ligator, you big yoker of those who love Latin to this mundane mound, and to those who love Latin, foster children. You illuminated us all, you rock star of the Vatican, who bidded you on Christmas Day in lowly Milwaukee. A tea, tibby, a loft, a holy water, a vodka, a vino in truth. To you, a grappa, a chai, matcha, and a coffee for the sleepers. Raise all the mundane cups from low to high to praise the power of Reggie and to laud all lost and losing tongues. Vanquish the political tongues of perdition. Blessed be salvation and the veritas of syntax and act. Ave and all hail to the king. His name was Reginald Foster. Yeah, and he died Christmas Day. So, truly an amazing human. So this last one is called Sequestered. Draw a dot. It's easy, full stop. Now stop a lot to form mine, but straight, hard even when done in your mind. You'll find your trawls wobbly with scribbles, shakes, and scratchings. Say nothing of the inevitably hairy circle your hand would commit to paper. All the revisions, regrets, visible tremblings of initiative, the embossed pentimenti and palimpsest filaments across the gap from "that's not what I meant" to intent and eventually to impact. The cuneiform, uh-oh, that old dent and dough. Although, despite the negative press, Covfefe's in the coverage, the covert cherry in coffee, the video of COVID's masked. Even the blackberry and wine is nothing at all. The infinitesimally small will win the pot, atop which an ever so slightly jostled lid releases steamed smells in the end. The essence is all there is. And why not? Birdsong, no bird is seen. Woodpeckered trunk, no beak. Lining Berlin's post-war walls, there's an eye-level pockmarks smattered in the spackle crumbles that trace where bullets embedded post-head, monstrous finger pokes from long dead jabbers. Holes endure where matter fled. Fling open doors, windows, ventilate, then try again to draw all straight. Thanks.
It's marvelous, AJ. I love hearing the new work. It's really great. That was really something. AJ, of course, is one of the founding members of the Cinema Writers Group workshop, to whom I remain eternally grateful for being such a great editor with one of my last books and that kind of thing. Thank you. And then when we moved into phase 2, we picked up some really wonderful new poets and new voices, and among them, of course, in the second wave was Carol Allison. And Carol, again, thanks for setting this up tonight on Zoom, and very much looking forward to your work right now.
There I am. All right. I have 3 short things to share. And kind of in the spirit of, Daedalus mentioning how long we've been doing this, I'm going to read one that I actually read 5 years ago at our Kiss and Tell event. And I felt like I wanted to bring it back tonight. It's written for a dear friend of mine who passed away when he was 3 years old. His name is Cayman. And I wrote this on the occasion of the 3rd anniversary of his passing. So as of this past February 5th, it had been 8 years. So revisiting that piece. I missed you in the world today. Stood on the hillside, felt the blue and green blow through me. And I saw you in the world, the clear blue of your eyes, the bright yellow of your laugh, the pure orange of your genius. I hugged a tree as you would do, leaned into its trunk, felt the rising wind grow stronger, and I saw you in the wind, tumbling down the slope, making the green grass dance and shimmer with your light. Bright colors carry you, sun, sky, leaves. 3 years was too short for us, but long enough for you. Why else would you go? Only to be more than an earthbound body, to be the breeze, the grass, the color. You were brought to earth through immeasurable love. Leaving, it multiplied. Your breath is gone. The breeze remains. And now this is actually none of my own words, kind of a curation of others' words that I only can claim originality in their grouping. Incite, verb, to move to action, stir up, spur on, urge on. Quote, these are not the words of someone inciting a violent insurrection. Michael Vanderveen, defense attorney. Quote, reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, George Orwell. Insurrection, noun, a violent uprising against an authority or government. Clearly, there was no insurrection, Bruce Castor, defense attorney. When I use a word, it means just what I choose it to mean, Humpty Dumpty. Guilty, adjective, responsible for a grave breach of conduct. What I said was totally appropriate. Donald John Trump, former social media influencer. And also perhaps the most innocent man anywhere in the history of the United States, end quote. The most outrageous lies can be invented the most outrageous lies that can be invented will find believers if a man only tells them with all his might, Mark Twain. All right, and this I would call haiku-ish. I really wanted to write some haiku as I enjoy that, but I couldn't quite get the full haiku flavor. This does have the structure of the 5-7-5, but verses, syllables per verse, but that's not everything a haiku is. So just gave me some way to focus on myself. So these are the thoughts of some random person, perhaps. Who's responsible for the words in my own mouth? I say it is you. For when I say peace, you heard, go tear it all down. How is that my fault? Did I ever say, eat the crap out of that guy? Only that one time. I told you to fight, but that was a metaphor. It's just how I talk. I'm a wordsmith. My language is lyrical. It's not literal. What would make you think that I'd encourage violence? I hate violence. So just remember, when next I say fight, what I really mean. I know you hear me. We understand each other. Stand back and stand by.
That was great. That was great, girl.
All right, I'll go with my swear.
So up next is Carrie Hess. You may know her as the producer of the feature film Pillhead, poster right behind me, the creator and writer and artist behind Spark to Row. And now she's going to be my wife, but she's also going to read some poems for you. Here we go.
Hi, I'm in my own square. Turn off your. Thanks. All right, this is a love charm that I wrote in my Friday writing group. May you always be remembered. May you open to all the others inside you. May your secret be revealed at the right moment. May the stars fall down around you. May you understand where you come from. May your beauty inspire poetry. Let there be flowers. Let the one that's buried come to light. Let us all feel the weather outside. Let us decorate ourselves for fun. Let us do everything for fun. Let it all be for fun. Let us drink from all sides. Let us see that golden sunflower, even if it's on your back. Until we go back into hiding for the winter, let's dance. Until the last layer opens, we wait. Until the stars begin to fall, darkness. Until the sun rises in the morning, we have the silver moon. Until we do everything for fun, find one line. Until you remember where you came from, hold my hand. Until we can drink from all sides, drink from one side. Until the flowers are delivered, listen to the bird song. Until the birds stop singing, listen to the bird song. Until we come from the same place, be in this place. That's it.
And thank you for that. Paging Steve Miller.
You were on mute.
You were
Yeah,
unmuted for a while. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Great.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. Did you hear what I was saying about you?
No, you were muted while you were saying that, but that's okay. I don't need any intros.
It was really good, Steve.
Oh well, I'm sorry I missed.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, let's hear what you got.
Okay, so this is going to be something a little different. It's hence my having an actual microphone. It's going to be a story in song. Long ago imagined events around a real person, tales from cowboy country. And since Zoom doesn't really lend itself to music, I'm just going to go it alone, and we'll see how that works out. So hold on just a second while I get something set up.
While Steve's setting up, I just want to say he's been a tremendous influence, not just on the poetry scene of Sonoma, but on me personally. Without Steve and his input on my life and my vision for myself, I wouldn't be the person I am today. For 1995, you too could get Steve's personal book on how to become like Steve.
Thank you.
You're muted, dude. You gotta.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now? Hold on. Can you guys hear me now? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. It was a one-horse town, lightning without any sound. Something just drew me there that night, where the desert air blurred, and with a walk so assured, like a moth I came into the light. She said, won't you sing me a song like my father would do? Oh, if I sat next to you. Oh, if I sat next to you. And won't you sing me a song like my father would do? And sing it just like the words were true, by a busted up sign that said vacancy. I first saw her and she first saw me. She said the dust settles in through the cracks in the floor. Night wind comes banging round at her back screen door. Then said, won't you sing me a song like my father would do? Oh, if I sat next to you. Oh, if I sat next to you. And won't you sing me a song like my father would do? And sing it just like the words were true. And she'll trade you the wind for the rain in your hand, show you lightning and things that you won't understand. And the rain clouds will haunt her, the moon don't play fair. You just agree, say something's in the air. Hank Williams sang soft on her radio. We lay there at night and just watched the tubes glow, or held her close next to me. We danced there in the moonlight. She said, I wish on that star sometimes with all of my might. Then said, won't you sing me a song like my father would do? Oh, if I sat next to you. Oh, if I sat next to you. And won't you sing me a song like my father would do, and sing it just like the words were true, and sing it just like the words were true. That's it.
Steve, that was really beautifully performed. Yeah, I really,
Thanks.
yeah, really enjoyed that. It's beautiful. Well, thank you, Steve, and look out for Steve's book coming out sometime in the near future.
I'll be getting it to you soon. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy the writing. So, Amy Glenn is an award-winning poet and essayist and the inaugural poet laureate of the cities of Orinda and Lafayette, Saint-Tropez, Istanbul. There's a whole list here. I can go on, but her second collection of romance language is forthcoming from Measure Press, presumably soon. And she won the 2020 Troubadour Prize and has been awarded scholarships to the Sewanee and Breadlift Writers Conferences and the James Merrill House. And she lives in the East Bay, and she's even written for East Bay Magazine, which I have the pleasure of editing. Hello, Amy Glenn. Where are you? Last time I saw you was also on Zoom.
Yes, we got to stop meeting like this.
I know. The last time it was during a wine conference, and I can't remember if they'd sent us the wine before or not, but
Yeah.
They did, because I don't remember finishing the Zoom. I just remember finishing the wine.
Exactly. No, I don't show up if they haven't sent the samples. Everyone's got boundaries, even me.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Ms.
looks
Glenn.
like folks are in the 3 poemish zone. I think I can probably manage that. I will be reading 0 inauguration insurrection poems, 0 COVID poems. I am going old school and respecting the theme of screwed up love. So with that, this is called Space is the Final Frontier. And the epigraph is from a poem by Richard Kenny, and it just goes, "The pattern's partial, Lord, its pointillism incomplete. To plot this form requires more flame. This is still a constellation without a name. Space is the final frontier." At this point, nothing's truly off the table. Venus is conjunct Mars in Aries. It's a gambler's placement. Everything just fits. However transitory and unstable, everything's ours and filthy with potential. Like puzzle pieces, we'll say later, blown away by how one moment writes its own little masterclass on force majeure. Essential story points emerge in filaments of glitter, 1 or 2 that demarcate the roofline or the firmament, intense enough to see in daylight, then a great proliferation littering the field at dusk, out of which certain truths emerge, an archetypal, overwhelming surge of myth and implication. What's revealed is, more than anything, a timeless story of how we conjure meaning from those chance encounters, accidents of circumstance, flashes of recognition of a glory we need to feel has implicated us. We say inevitable, point out the yod our birth charts share, the thumbprint divots God pressed on both our fontanelles at once. Think the first time, if you can pin down what that even was. We were 13. We were infants in San Anselmo. There's a blur of images from other lifetimes. Brown eyes watching for the slice of light that cuts the hardwood just before the bedroom door opens. Glass fracturing against the floor of a room you know but don't. A parakeet's small riot of green and yellow feathers. Whose pet bird was that? It talked. Why must it mean something? That I have memories that are not mine, or that were haunted by the same dream where a child with bronze curls says her name must be spoken. Staggering out of a bar in Cap Hill, we are dazzled by the cold clarity of the air, eyes drawn upward by a spate of brilliances, diamond-cut diamond, spitfire, daughters of Atlas, burning with an old lament for things that never change, but should. In 89 years, we will meet again, this time in Jaipur. Me, 12, over men already. You, 16, shy, with good teeth and lean thighs and no idea how to start a conversation. But despite ourselves, we'll share a certain thrill when night falls and Electra rises. We will grow attached. It will seem oddly foreordained. Things will go sideways anyway. We'll say it's written. We'll believe it too. Today, Venus squares Pluto, indicating strained relations stemming from intensity of feeling. We do not yet understand how deep this goes. How could we? One dim strand emerges, then a radiant tapestry. This is, those of you who have heard me read before know that I'm an unreconstructed botanical pornographer. So this is in that vein. Sorry, shocking. Birds, bees, you know. Anyway, this is called Entre deux Mers, June. Every rangy sidewalk crack, hollyhock, and Bordeaux says the same damn thing. Depend on nothing. Nothing to shore you up, nothing to nourish or validate, nothing. They rise up against half the doorways in town, coming out of nowhere, staying local, dressed up anyway, posing before the stone walls like florid hookers, 6 feet tall or more, veins displayed, stems clad in starry hairs, flexed petals powdered with pollen as if to make a point of how privation shouldn't stop you. They say to stand your ground and take it. Take neglect, turn it to your advantage, build a little empire of your own with it. Turn it to pith and pigment, frill and flush, flashy colors that look ridiculously expensive, topaz and jet, cochineal, Tyrian purple. Turn it to wantonly arrogant dry fruits, not in the business of attracting anything, because screw that. Take nothing, owe nothing. Come out on top, present your proof of concept ahead of schedule and under budget. Live on your own terms like that, and there's nothing anyone can do, though they will want to, because once you need nothing, you will scare people. You will make them want to cut you. But here's the thing, being hollow doesn't really make you stronger, but it does make you harder to bend. And a structure built on nothing, it's near impossible to bring down. And this book, Romance Language, has a bunch of twists on different iterations and meanings of that expression. And a lot of it has to do with literal Romance languages, Latin, Spanish, Italian, French. Some of it has other layers, but this is, a few of them have like goofy Google Translate Latin titles. This one's called Ligabis Nodum, which is, you know, not Father Reggie approved, but it's a rough Latin for tie the knot. After the diamond knot, the high point hitch. It can be performed in churches. Nota bene, it will tighten with added weight. After the anchor bend, there's the tensionless hitch and then the half knot spiral. After the common whipping, the blood knot. After the surgeon's ligature, the grief knot. After the angler's loop, there's the constrictor. After the unknot, there's the bottle sling and the underwriter's knot, both of which provide strain relief. After the underhand knot and the overhand noose comes the ring knot. After that, you move on to the reef knot, and after that, the thief knot, always useful for knowing if someone has gone through your private things. There are all kinds of bitter end knots and racking turns and slips and lashings and things that are capsized despite all due skill with the line. You can learn how to work any kind of hitch, friction hitch, rolling hitch, slippery hitch. You can master open loops, understand standing and working ends. In the end, there is always a disconnect waiting to happen. Thank you.
That's great. Always brilliant, Amy Glenn. That was so great. Thank you. That's great. So Michael Yost and I both did our obligatory service in the Israeli army at the same time. Same two, well, it was staggered by 6 months, but we both did 2 years together, 6 months between. And he fucked off back to Greece and I came back to Petaluma, and then he eventually came to Petaluma. So I win. I told you that would happen. Here you are. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. I know it's been a while. I'm glad that the surgery worked out and you have all 7 digits again. Michael Yotis is the author of Daybreak, which won the Pulitzer Prize in 2019, and mysteriously might have won again this year because nothing all that's happened worth a damn since. Michael Yotis, take it away.
That's, maybe I've had a stroke because I don't remember any of that. But I'll go with it. I really appreciate being invited here. I always love performing with you guys, so it's great to be a part of you. I'm in my creative space right now, and you're sending energy in that I'm going to definitely use later, so appreciate the work I've heard tonight. You said 10 minutes, so I'm taking 10 minutes. Original Yotis, California poet, the sky treasury. Sprinkling from heaven is heaven in pieces. Sodium chloride dissolved in the miracle of hydrogen dioxide that should bring life, not death. No, remember the cycle. Something comes from nothing. Unborn or born and unborn in the terrestrial tide of struggle, self-awareness, suffering. There may be a way out, a mighty jewel crafted by the hands of all of us, infinite secret offerings never known, spoken of, the gifts of the least of us, as immeasurable, radical, true as the gifts of the great. This jewel, a vast treasure of souls, offered up from the earth, lifted like purified water, infinite condensed tears, suspended once more. Grand Canyon. Over the desert, with the distortion of humidity absent, both sun and stars shine down at their most intense. Under that unhindered cosmic force, there's a gash in geology the size of God's, where the probable can't be seen any longer, isn't even thought. Down, dizzy, free, land plunges along cliffs to abstraction. Pyramids, quadruplanes, spires, mesas, whole nations saturate visual fields beyond their limit. Below, buried in the mist, a history known only to those who lived it. You comprehend nothing, the usefulness of the empty, space itself. Rock crumbles from the leaf of shale beneath your weight. It isn't visual, physical, psychic, or insane. The pull of the inevitable on the body of you, a living thing at the edge of negation, buzzing, afraid you'll jump just because it be so beautiful. To fly here, down, dizzy, free. See those stars up there, hanging on for dear life, burning as bright as they can till they blink out? Do a slow motion bounce groove with your hands held up high. Reach out. You're the one to show that the same fire up there burns down here in the hearts of individuals, stricken living things that blink out, down, dizzy, free. So I consider the last one and the next one self-love poems, so theme adjacent, theme allies. Good to the fullest. You know that pit inside, right there, encompassing the wrong found in yourself? The thing unnamed. Or have you named it? What do you call that dark, bitter angel that strikes out, hurts, fails, weeps without a tear or a twitch of the cheek? Because it doesn't move, the dark you isn't seen by others until it acts and it's all they see. Then you know you fucked up. There's no hiding it, but you still don't give up the name because naming is power over a thing, and that thing can be controlled. Have faith. Fellow human, believe in you. For humans created gods, hearts created love, and all that is in you. That pit is the seed of your goodness. As the void brings forth the cosmos, your dark is your light. Only you have overcome your special dark. You're still a resolvable case. Your garden, tended or wild. Your heart, known or secret. The true you, the all of you. That choice we all face. The chance to name ourselves, make it right. To find, finally, in yourself, the good to the fullest. So this one is my submission for the theme. Kiss and tell, or what did someone say? Fucked up love? Yeah, that one. Singer stature. This is from the book. The others are new. I remember the last time I saw Sherry in LA. At least I think it was. Time has made the order of things as uncertain as all the alcohol that night made the details. We'd gone to a show at a little club, the bar where I first met the friends who eventually convinced me to move to LA, the band I followed all around Hollywood those 2 years. This night, it was a band from out of town, punks in white medical clothes, spitting into the empty space in front where a better band would have had a crowd. I got more and more drunk until I spat back at the stage. After the show, with Sherry trying to drag me away, I talked with the band as they loaded the van, claiming to be a promoter. She wanted to come home with me, left her car there, but someone else was already coming over, a girl I actually liked, a woman, really, short and sweet, experienced and to the point. Sherry freaked, and we fought the way only she and I could fight until I stormed out, kicking the stage door. We walked to the club to be free, to drink as much as we wanted. In the end, we were each alone in the night, with the other bound inside us. I went up a freeway on-ramp on foot and walked along the shoulder until I was at the point between road lamps where it's the darkest, and sat down, watching cars go by. It seems insane now to do that. Wouldn't I be arrested, shamed, honked at, shot at for fun? When the rage loosened its grip on me, I walked down the off-ramp and headed home. In the courtyard, at the bottom of the darkened stairwell, my wallet slapped into my chest, and Sherry screamed and screamed from the top of the stairs. Antigone, furious at the injustice of being left alone, at night, along Hollywood Boulevard, drunk herself, full of rage. I let her in for some reason, apologizing, until we started screaming again, and she stormed out this time, and I started smashing stuff. This isn't fucking over! Meaning the argument, I imagine. I could have cared less about us. I never liked to be wrong, and it was wrong to leave her on the side of the road as I did. Drunk, the only way to make amends was to make an argument at full volume. I didn't know then that well-formed arguments don't convince anybody. And drunken arguments lead to violence. Outside for fresh air, down on my back carelessly on the pathway, I see, hanging from the window, still plugged in and running, my table fan oscillating above. Faces of a neighbor and his boyfriend flicker past, offering cigarettes. I took two up to my broken recliner, watched night sour in the room, waiting for Amy with the door open, knowing that when she came, saw the wreckage and broken beer bottles all over the floor and the calm of anguish on my face, she'd get hot and take me and fuck me to sleep.
And that's how we met.
So that's literally my wife's least favorite poem. Being neither of these people, I mean, luckily. So hopefully this will make up for it, and I'll finish with this. This is a new one. Original Yodis, free verse poet.
Yeah, Michael, you read that one in Petaluma when Stacy and I joined you.
I did, yes.
I remember.
No, I didn't. I pulled it. I did not read that.
Well, there was another time when you read this poem and you said it was your wife's least favorite poem. Maybe it was in.
Yeah, no, and I pulled it from the set, but she's not here right now.
Yeah.
I pulled it. Yeah, I did, because I did that for her. Okay. That was a lovely night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. It was beautiful.
Jonah and Stacy read at my book release 7 years ago now.
And your boys were there. That was good fun.
Yeah. The Lost Poem. Ever had a dream that meant everything? In the morning, eyes still closed, dreaming awake in the eastern light. Worlds, lives, eruptions of violence, secrets of the soul, swimming the air on butterfly wings, any goddamn thing. Well, there was a poem like that, the perfect poem, that said everything you need to hear to know I'm yours, like of you, in my stomach when it aches, my head when it caves in, my faltering heart that flutters, all of it built from you, my best defense, my greatest defender. I'm yours, I swear it, it said in such clear language, few simple words. Anybody who heard it would know that your soil is saturated with me, flooding into you, declaration of the faithful, vitality of the eternal, a mighty tree on the tip of the tongue. See, we are animals and our bond is life. I needed you to understand that, and the poem said it clearly, concisely. In that bright waking light, those few words took their place together in a perfect poem, one you would understand. Now it's gone like a dream. Maybe I'll never explain now, but I swear, baby, it's true. I swear. Thank you, love you.
That was great, Michael. That was really great. Julie Schrader, after founding a company predicated on Vermont white cheddar and organic popcorn, sold that company and retired to Sonoma County wine country, where she set up a shelter for dogs and other adopted animals, eventually settling into poetry, which she's going to share with us tonight. Thank you, Julie Schrader. You got to turn your mic on.
Oh, is it on? Yes. Okay, this one is just a short story, a little different tone of an offering for you. It's a memoir, The Piss Kiss. Leaning over the ironing board, I ran a hot iron over my long frizzy mop. The doorbell rang. I jumped. The iron toppled. My first date. Before bolting down the hall, I did a double take in the full-length mirror. Was my eyelet blouse too babyish? Were my shorts too short? I wiped a smudge of pink passion from my teeth and sprinted to the front door. My parents hovered. He stood in the doorway, framed in light. Then he stumbled in over the threshold. Okay, not the best first impression. His wide shoulders made up for it. We smiled at each other a little too long. Mom and Dad, I'd like you to meet Jeff. Jeff pumped paws with Dad. Mom fluttered nearby. It was the 60s, and my strict German upbringing regarded any faith other than Lutheran with suspicion. Jeff attended St. Catherine's, the other high school, which meant that he was Catholic. With some reluctance, Mom and Dad had agreed to let me go out with him. I knew better than to question this. Back then, the only part of me that overrode my screaming hormones was my tendency to go all tongue-tied. I prayed I wouldn't mess this up. In my favor, Jeff wore glasses. Bad boys didn't wear glasses. Bad boys sported greasy pompadours, drove souped-up hot rods, and rolled cigarette packs into their t-shirt sleeves. Mom handed me the picnic basket and pulled me aside. Swear to me, Jules, you'll be back before dark. Swear? The only thing missing was a stack of Bibles. I will. Gee, Mom, I'm not a child. I'm 16. A roll of her eyes. I remember being your age. What could she mean? I was sure she'd never been my age. We sputtered off toward Lake Michigan. I clasped the picnic basket under my arm. Jeff chatted and flashed luminous smiles. He was Midwestern handsome, blonde and blue, and those muscles. My heart hammered, my stomach fluttered, my mouth dried up. I studied every piece of dirt on the floor mat while the basket handle dug a groove into my skin. Oh yeah, there was one other thing. I hadn't peed before I left home. An hour into our date, suntan lotion slathered, sand between our toes. The lake breeze played havoc with our frisbee. I was a wreck. I'll die if I have to tell him I need to go to the bathroom. 2 hours in, his arm was around me. I tried to focus on mind over matter to quell the yelling pressure inside my bladder. Matter was winning. There was no way to casually slip away. My only hope was to go to the bathroom when Jeff did. I watched. I waited. He didn't go. We snuggled on the blanket. He rested his hand across my stomach. I gently removed it. He moved closer. I gazed with longing at the white clapboard building just a stone's throw across the sand. As more time passed, I became alarmed, yet grimly fascinated at my bladder's ability to stretch and hold twice, maybe 3 times its capacity. It was dusk when we turned into my driveway. I had lasted all day. Jeff hadn't gone either. Back then, I didn't understand that all bladders are not created equal. He walked me to the back door. This was the moment I dreamed of. My first kiss. I turned toward him on the stoop. His eyes were shining, expectant. Glasses off, he drew me close. I shifted from foot to foot. I thought I heard my bladder pleading. Just let a little bit out, just a drop. He'll never know. That made sense. Jeff leaned down. I reached up, his parted lips nearly touching mine. Everything in me said yes to his muskiness. I had to do something. So I let a little bit out, just a drop. But once, unrestrained, the flood gushed down the insides of my legs. Stunned, Jeff gazed toward the curious sound. Horror flashed across his face. He jerked back, caught his foot on the clothesline pole lying in the grass, and catapulted backward onto the ground. His mouth agape, eyes bulging, he struggled to regain his footing. Half upright like an ungainly, oversized insect, he scurried away on his hands and feet, disappearing around the corner of the house into the driveway. He gunned the engine, popped the clutch, and burned rubber on his way out. I stood alone, paralyzed in my puddle of shame, as the warm waterfall cooled around my sandaled feet. Thank you.
Oh, that's the best first date ever. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Julie, for sharing that. It was a really fun story. And,
Can we take a quick bathroom break? I have to go pee now. Can we take a little bathroom?
let's take a 5-minute break and return with Jane and Bonnie and a recap from Jonah. 5 minutes, everyone.
Bio break.
I was kidding, but I really do have to go pee.
5-minute break. 5-minute break, everyone. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, Julie, that was, I'm crying, laughing.
Julie, I can hardly stand it. That is just awful hilarious. I mean, I can think through that moment in my past.
Oh, it was almost kiss and tell.
Yeah, almost.
Oh.
That was Tell and Kiss. I think the kiss got missed.
But yeah, the kiss got missed. The kiss never really happened.
Oh, geez.
Can I ask you what town you were in? I was wondering if you were. The whole
I
time
grew up
I was
in-
thinking you were at near Lake Michigan, and so I have.
Yeah, I grew up in Racine, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. I know it.
Racine.
Yeah, Racine.
Right.
Do you
Thank
know
God
it?
you went to different schools.
Who's that?
You and the guy, thank God you went to different schools,
Oh, I know.
right?
Because I actually never saw him again.
Well, is that a surprise? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a good thing you weren't in the same school. That
I
would have been
know.
horrible.
Yeah.
It was a really good thing.
Yeah.
So Julie, did you learn anything from that experience in future dates?
Yes,
Before you leave the house.
I learned to pee before I left on a date. And not drink any soda.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh.
That's something. Mm.
So I heard Bonnie's name mentioned, but I don't see her here, so I think she's not here.
Oh.
Just for the record.
Yeah, I don't see.
She was an if.
Oh,
She was
okay.
a maybe. And she didn't make it, so.
Okay, well, Jane is still, and Jonah has more, and I think Stacy had another.
Good.
That was my impression. So I think she should read. Oh, Anne is we can go to.
Bring back Bonnie to me. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Excellent. Perfect. Well, I am gonna go pee.
I think I'll follow. Carol.
Julie, I will forever remember you now. That makes such an impression.
Yeah,
I always know you.
It's so hit home now. Everybody had to go pee.
Oh, I was a little hesitant because it's so different than what everybody else has read tonight.
No, I thought it was a riot.
Oh yeah.
It was very on theme. I think it was fine. It was on theme, you know.
Okay, good.
You could see everybody cracking up while you were reading.
Yeah. Although I didn't look up too much.
Jane, are you ready? Are you still here?
Who?
Jane. You must be the one that Carol invited, yes?
Yes, yes.
We didn't receive your bio, but I do have a note here that you shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That's
I am
finest.
I read at a Halloween poetry reading 2 cycles ago.
No, I recall you. I recall.
Yeah,
that was a crazy night.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
And I was sorry I missed the subsequent one. Anyway,
for the last 6 years.
Yeah. And Kara for reading E.E. Cummings' poem, because he has been my favorite poet since I was a teenager. And except that now I believe I have a new favorite because I adore Amanda Gorman. I think she is going to open up all kinds of poetry spaces in this world for us. And not to mention she's a mistress of alliteration. So, you know, I just think she's amazing and I can't wait for her book. Anyway, I usually write poetry when I've got something therapeutic to work out. So I was writing one in I believe in April about germs. And my therapist said to me, Jane, you know, how about trying a poem about gratitude? So I switched gears, and I'm now working on the germ poem again, but because I came back to it. But this one is my gratitude poem that I wrote in April. And it's kind of borrows the concept of flock of sheep, murder of crows, that kind of thing. And it's called An Embarrassment of Riches. Okay. In these difficult times, isolation demanded, when frightening newscasts foster spells of anxiety, this accounting of blessings and of heart tracks to travel. A cradle of home, a reassurance of pension, a scaffold of insurances, a cornucopia of substance, a council of healthcare, an apothecary of remedies, family contacts that heartwarm, virtual gatherings of friends, a devoted reliance of feline attention, a goodwill of neighbors with offers of help, a sorting of memories into scrapbooking visits, limitless antidotes against loneliness, a patchwork of garden to maintain body and heart, granting refuge for birds, butterflies, and the bees, a diversion of digital library offerings, an unstoppable force field of creative spirit, a routine infusion of Pollyannish delight, an inspiration of artful displays in the house, a bountiful influence of crafting instructions, a multiplicity of objects and art supplies for repurpose, a sufficiency of spaces to promote self-expression, interweavings of inner and material resources, interconnections to community, family, and friends, create a safe harbor and a resilience of spirit, giving rise to this rich life, gratitude in abundance. Kind of moves me to tears a little bit because it's the truth of what I'm blessed with. And I wanted to read one more short one that I thought of because of Carol's poem where she's borrowing quotes from someone. And this is a poem I wrote about a conflict I had with my daughter where she was planning not to speak to me again. We did work it out and we've got a great relationship now. But I wrote this during the silent period where I was trying to sort what to do. So it's called Word Search. Oh, and this also means that I had to take a visit to my copy of Bartlett's quotations, so you might recognize some phrases. Word search. What is the word to the wise? Here it is, word for word. Only speak when spoken to. Speak for yourself. Speak softly, but carry no big sticks here, or even little ones. It is said that talk is cheap, but it seems invaluable to me. Silenced by silences, I have become tongue-tied, fearful of misspeaking. No rote phrases these, words choke, lest they be perceived as empty. My spirit now tied up in knots, it appears she has the last word. So when will we be free to speak our minds in search of a new, compassionate lexicon? So thank you.
Compassionate Lexicon was my first band, actually. So
good one, good one.
Beautiful. That's great. Thank you. And I understand Bonnie Carasso had to. She's of course working with the Biden administration and was called back to DC, which is wonderful that she's doing that for us. Take one for the team. So unfortunately, she can't be here to read. So that allows us to bring Jonah Raskin back to the mic for well, I see it says here that Carol, you want Anne to read. Is Anne? Where are you, Anne Hoffman? Well, damn it, Anne, why don't you get on the list before? That's it. I'm out of here.
My fault.
Anne, yeah. While Jonah's getting ready, let's get one in there.
What, you want me to go or wait?
I know nothing about love, and I'm not a poet, but I have this prose poem, and as you were reading, I thought I do have something. Several years ago, I lived in Davis, and a long-term relationship imploded. And one of the things I used to do, I write essays and reflection pieces, and I used to write on the train between Berkeley and Sacramento. I'd sit on the train and just buy a ticket and write. There's something about the scenery and that train. And so in the midst of this awful breakup, I wrote this piece. So here it is. It was becoming clear to me at that time that I was going to have to leave California because I couldn't afford to live here on my own. And I was exiled to Pennsylvania for a couple of years, but worked my way back. I will miss the rows of almond trees and olives, walnut and persimmons lining the highways and train tracks along the routes I have taken. This train, the one I'm riding on right now, races an old Jeep, pushes past young trees and recently tilled soil. Each barn and patch of green grass is dear. So too the egrets and odd ducks fishing in the ditches. Even the electrical wires stretching from Reading to Fresno make me cry out for the longing born in this goodbye. I am sentimental, grown more so each year, and I will miss the things I will miss. Someday, years from now, I might return and ride this train again, but then I might not. I never did return to Camp Silver Lake with my child in tow, or speak at the small Midwestern college as a Pulitzer Prize winning author, nor will I ever learn to play the drums like Elvin Jones. Today, regret is riding with me, sitting as she does, with her feet up and looking out the window as if nothing mattered except the color of the sky. What I never anticipated is how tired I would become, how worn by all the struggle I would be, how sadness and anger would cling to me. I wish for a home that is mine and pleasure in the things I will do just for me. That's it.
Well said. And now, I just want to check in here. There was a rumor Stacey Toole might want to read another poem. Is that true? Thanks, Carol. You're totally wrong. Okay, Jonah Raskin. Here we are.
She didn't answer.
This one is called, excuse me, Translate Trauma. Michael lived through HIV/AIDS crisis when lovers died, living now in COVID-19 in Castro. Tells me he's endured too many pandemics. So I don't wish any more pandemics on him or on fugitives, exiles, newcomers, and natives who went blind in plagues born of rats, lice, bats, and more. Diseases jumping from jungles to the jungles of cities, while we stay a hop, skip, jump ahead of viruses, live virtuously, wash hands, wear masks, stay 6 feet apart or don't, maintain ties to the community of muted and unmuted poets who are as vulnerable as their next door neighbors and who conjure the magic to translate trauma into words that sometimes rhyme and sometimes don't. That's it.
Everyone, that was a magnificent evening of poetry. If anyone has one line on the notion of loving and wants to share it now, please jump in and we will end on that notion. Going once, going twice, Michael Yotis. Going 3 times. Oh, I'm reading all of the comments. Well, that's That's actually illegal in this state. So I don't even know why you would mention that, dude. Thanks, Kurt, if that's your real name. All right. I love you all. You are tremendous people and poets. Doing this at all is extraordinary. And as I said earlier, you're to be applauded because you keep poetry alive and vital. And the Sonoma Writers Workshop, though moribund and increasingly macabre, it is a pleasure to be part of this with you all. And I have to go. So goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for your holding us all together.
Thanks to everyone for putting it together and for being here. It was a great night.
Thank you, guys.
A lot of fun. Good poetry, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Next time.
Great. Thank you so
Happy
much.
Valentine's. Good night.
Happy Valentine's to everybody.
Thanks, Carol, for hosting again.
Oh, my pleasure. Easy.
Thank you,
Easy.
Carol. Thanks for inviting me, Carol.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I think you've earned a permanent spot now.
I hope so.
Julie, I actually like peed myself a little bit while you that was so good.
Yeah, I think you're stuck with us now.
Okay. That was pretty good.
All right. Well, it was great seeing everybody.
Yeah,
Good
great.
night.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was lovely. That was a beautiful song.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah,
Good night.
it was lovely. I loved it too.
Hi. Oh, there's Issa's face. Hi. Ariana and Paul, are you really there?
Oh, Issa is here. Look, it's the real Issa.
There she is.
Hi, Issa.
Oh, yay. There we get to see the face.
We're here.
Yay, good.
Issa, you're on mute if you're talking.
Oh, here, I'll unmute you. There you go. You're off. I unmuted you. Still can't hear you.
No, still can't hear.
I'm
Oh.
not sure why we still can't hear you, but we can't.
He's messing with you.
You are all great. Thank
There
you. What a good evening.
That was great.
Sending love.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Good seeing everybody.